Welcome to our March video update here at Lowell's Boat Shop. It's Thursday at 4:45, and our apprentice program is here working away, so we're going to walk around and check in with some of the stuff that they're doing and some of the other projects that we're working on here. So we'll start here with this Irish seine boat. We have transitioned now from oak planking to cedar planking, and the first few strakes being oak for a couple of reasons. It keeps the weight down low. It makes the centerline structure really strong, but also the oak is much better suited to making this twist. The cedar itself doesn't really, it tends to be fairly dry, but the cedar doesn't really want to make that much of a twist. So we've got oak, and then we've moved here to cedar. Benji and I just fastened this plank on, and now he's putting bungs in. And I'm going to stop for a minute and show him a different way. Okay. So when you do what you're doing there, you take the bung, you dip it in the epoxy, and you put it in and you beat it down with that. You tend to like mush up that wood. Yeah. You're much better off taking a clamp, gently squeezing it in until you can feel it bottom out, and then you know you're done. It's really hard to tell when you hammer it in, when, especially with a softwood like that, when you've actually gotten it all the way down. And then in this one here, so don't tell anyone, but we hit another fastener and stripped the head off a screw. Pour some epoxy in the hole first, and then put the bung on top. So I want to bung both of these, right? Yeah, you might do that last. So you're going to bung those, maybe mix up some thickened stuff, and put it in there, and then put the bung on top. One of the other issues that you perpetually have with cedar is that you have to do a lot of repair. So these bungs here are for knot holes that we've drilled out and bunged so that those knots, we need to do this one still, but see the little crack in that knot? That'll actually weep water. If this stays in the water, that'll leak very, very slowly. So we take those out and bung them. Coming back here, young Mr. Tomowski is just getting the rails put on his mohawk here. He's doing a pretty bang-up job. So we modified the rail structure for these boats. We would normally do an in-whale and an out-whale with a little gap in between. We've transitioned on these boats to doing a solid in-whale with the oak on either side. The reason for that is the way these boats get used out there at Mohawk. Pardon me. They refinish them every year, and all of the ins and outs of that rail structure were really hard to refinish. And then over years and over time, they would actually sand down, and it would become really thin, all that rail structure. So the idea behind this is it's a much flatter surface. It's much easier to finish, and they'll be able to keep it up better. You hear a lot of noise coming out of this end of the room. That's because Johnny Noon's over here. All right, lads, what are you doing?
He is sanding. The bungs are already cut, and I am cutting the bungs. And I just
finished. Great. So we finally got the combing in this boat, which was a real pain. I've looked at these for years and thought, wow, that looks like a real pain, and then having to do it for the first time. It's the first one I've ever done. I didn't really have to do it. These guys did it with Johnny. But it was as much of a pain as it looked. And then Garrett just fiberglassed this guy. One thing, Garrett, you might look out for. See these little humps and bumps? Little bubbles. I don't know if you can get that out. It might mean there's too much epoxy on there.
John said we can sand them out later.
Great. Do what John says.
All right.
Downstairs, come on down. This cute little boat, a little 10-foot boat, was built by Meyer and Cowden upriver, probably in the 60s, maybe even the 70s. This is actually a subject for the boat building class that we're running right now. So last weekend I had a 3-day weekend where we started to build a replica of this, and we'll finish it up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And if you come in here, you'll see it ready for planking. I'll show you guys in a minute. So these here are the garboard planks for this skiff, and this is the skillet. You can't really see it probably from that angle if you come around, but you've got the bottom and the frames, and you can see it's all braced up all every which way. When we build, we bend the bottom down to the building bed from the overhead so that you have rocker in it. The boat's curved, the bottom is curved this way. What that does is it makes for a better rowing boat, for one, but it also it aids in the planking process. So if this boat had a very flat bottom fore and aft, the planks would be very difficult shapes. The rocker gives you the ability to plank it in straighter planks. It's a little more involved than that, but that's the basic gist of it. So those brace it down and hold it in place while you plank, and these at the ends help brace the stem and the transom so they don't twist and stay plumb the whole time while you build. Over here, these two lads have done, I'm going to say, a reasonably good job at this project. And they just got done putting the cap rail on the dory here that they've built. And now what they're about to do, if you look, it's a lot actually wider than the rail wants to be. So they've got themselves set up to trim it. But, my friend, so this is going to be an undercut. You follow me?
Yes.
So it's going to go like this. Now you don't want, with the router, to cut too much material. This is probably, actually you're lacking some in here. This is probably just about right. Yep. I'm doing this for demonstration purposes only. I would normally have glasses and whatever on, but you got to keep that. And this is a 7-degree wedge. So on the top of a dory, the top angle of the shear plank has a 7-degree angle put into it so that the rail is not perpendicular to the planking. It's actually got a little bit of a flat to it, which makes it a better angle along the rail for rowing. So you got to keep that flat on the cap. So you'll see you didn't leave enough overhang here. So you didn't trim much. Over here you left way too much. And what's going to happen there is you're going to be fighting that material the whole time. So what you want to do is get a power planer and get it down to the point where you're not taking, I mean, that's about as much as I think I would take. Over there, it overhangs a lot.
Yeah.
So you're going to be asking a lot of the router, and it's going to want to dig and get away from you. So if you can take a lot of the excess off, especially in the inside's got a lot too, a lot of that excess off ahead of time, leaving yourself, you probably need about a 1/4 inch overhang. You don't need any on the inside, right? Because the angle's
Straight down.
this is an undercut, so you need the overhang on the outside.
Okay.
So, cool. That's what's going on. So we'll talk to you in a month. Thanks.